It's a blockbuster Sunday here in Perth as the crowd roll in to RAC Arena for what is undoubtedly the game of the round. The highly anticipated return to the West for former Fever captain Courtney Bruce. Recruited to the Lightning in the off-season, she goes head-to-head today with her former teammate in Fowler Nemmard, a five-time league MVP. Folks, I think it's a showdown worth the price of admission. A big hello and welcome to RAC Arena. Thanks for your company on this Sunday. I promise you it's going to be an absolute beauty. Sue Gordian's my name, and joining me, a former premiership player for the West Coast Fever in Stacey Francis Bayman. Stacey, sleepless night last night?
Yeah, it was giving Christmas Eve. I cannot wait for the game today.
These two sides, we know how big this... We've been waiting days for this game, right? But however, these two sides had an enormous opening round one. Maybe a little unexpected. The scorelines were huge, weren't they?
Absolutely. Fever, I think, surprised everybody, possibly including themselves. They took a 19-goal win against the Giants. They won all four quarters, so showed that great level of ruthlessness in round one that sometimes can be lacking. 94% shooting for the shooters and only 11 turnovers.
Yeah, and they also were able to debut a number of new players, Stace, for the club. Kelsey Brown, you can see there, found the lovely feeds into Fowler Nemmard. And then what about the Lightning? They got to open up at home in front of a sellout crowd against a New South Wales Swifts that looked a little less than normal.
Absolutely. I think lots of people have been backing the Swifts to take a premiership in this off-season, but Lightning show that they have been worth all of the hype, all of the pennies that they've spent recruiting some incredible players. 16-goal win over the Swifts, 93% shooting. They won three quarters and also incredibly clinical, just 12 turnovers.
Well, what about the Sunshine Coast Lightning? They're littered with stars, but there's one lady who's hung up her international boots, but she's hanging around at this club for another couple of years because she wants to win a premiership with them. Caitlin Bassett rounds out our commentary team today, and she joins this lady, the captain of the Sunshine Coast Lightning.
I'm here with Steph Fretwell. Steph, fans have had this game penciled in their diaries since pre-season. Tell us about the emotion. Both teams coming off blockbuster wins. Courtney Bruce's first time back in the West. How are you supporting her today?
Oh, she's been quite, she's been chilled out, but yeah, just getting around her. You know, she was a part of this club for 13 odd years, and it would be an emotional time for her to come back here. So we're definitely getting around her, but also a big focus for us is what we have to do coming up against the Fever. They had an incredible win last week, so making sure that we all stick to our roles.
And you got the win over them in Team Girls Cup. It was quite an emotional game. What can you take from Team Girls Cup in helping get the win today?
I think for us in Team Girls Cup, I think we got away with the win, but we definitely probably copped up too much ball in our attack. And last week we did have quite low losses, so that's something working for us this week. We got to make sure we have low losses because in attack they don't give the ball up.
You've had plenty of success on this court. What's going to be important for you guys when the crowd does get up and about and on their feet?
This crowd's incredible to play in front of. I know that they're against us, but just channeling that energy, but making sure we get around each other and we don't get too isolated.
Well, good luck today, Steph.
Thanks, Bess.
Yeah, great opening game from Fretwell last week. 6 from 8 super shots. Let's go back to Team Girls Cup. The beauty is these two sides had a look at each other about 3 weeks ago, Stace. It's fair to say this game was absolutely full of emotion.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we'll see that exact same thing today. It did not seem like a pre-season hit out when they were out there on court. Both teams really wanting to make a statement, settle in their new lineups and new combinations. And like Steph said, Lightning were able to take that win, but they also took a lot of learnings from that performance as well that they want to bring into today.
Well, I think we're all sort of anticipating how these sides are going to line up. There's probably one duo we know that are going to go head-to-head. Let's get straight into the team cards. Brought to you by Woolworths and the Fever lineup. Will the Jamaican superstars go back-to-back in their opening game 1 and 2, Beckford and Fowler Nemmard. No changes in the mid-court for the Fever, courtesy of Dan Ryan, their head coach, and Fran Williams gets the nod in the starting 7. The England Roses captain she'll line up with Sunday Ariang.
Lightning going with that familiar and emphatic combination of Cara Conan and Steph Fretwell in the shooting circle. One of their biggest off-season recruits in Liz Watson coming in at wing attack. Mahala Cassidy gets the nod again to start at centre. Ava Black on the wing. Lots of debate in the week as to where they start that defensive firepower in Bruce. She starts at the back at goalkeeper with Tara Hinchcliffe in front.
Yeah, some terrific combinations that we'll get to talk to you as the game goes on. You'll see now the West Coast Fever making their way out onto the court. And it is their first home game of the season. And Stace, We heard earlier that they are expecting very close to 10,000 people here on this opening game for the club.
That is insane for a round 2 match, for any match in general in the Suncorp Super Netball competition. That is an incredible crowd. I think it speaks to the quality of the league. It speaks to the expectation of the quality of the game that we want to see today. And for me, it's giving finals already. It doesn't feel like round 2. The competition just gets better and better.
So plenty of changes in the off-season stakes for both of these sides as the captain, Jess Anstis, comes out onto her first home game. There she is, the signal goes up. Dan Ryan, 6 new faces to the team. How did you think they opened up in round 1? Because there was a lot of talk that maybe they weren't going to be the side that everyone was expecting.
They weren't spoken about in a threatening way. People weren't thinking that they would be able to make that finals and be championship contenders based on losing such key starting members in a Sasha Glasgow, a Courtney Bruce. Rudy Ellis went off to a different team. Not only have they brought in people who are more than up to the job, they brought in people that haven't even played at an SSN level before. You would never have known that Beckford, Wilkinson have never stepped on the court the way that they brought composure and star quality to the team last week.
So Fallon Emma just enjoying herself with the music. The Lightning now making their way out onto the court. Of course, their head coach, a former assistant coach at the West Coast Fever for 5 years, coached alongside Dan Ryan, and now in her second year at the club. Enormous recruitment for them. But what was impressive last week, Belinda Reynolds was able to get out all 10 of her players, and she has spoken about the importance of making sure that she can use the depth of her squad. It's not just about the superstars.
No, you have people that are able to absolutely turn a game and change it. You've got the Bruces, you've got the Watsons, but you don't want to be predictable to your opposition. So to have a bench that you have equal standard, who can bring on something different to elevate that game, make the opposition think, it's an incredible position to be in as a coach. And there's no doubt that we'll see changes here today. We saw Bachelor at the back of the shot there. She's also incredible and will absolutely come on and change a game for them.
There's our Woolworths NetSec Go little leader. Her name's Isla. She's from the Luara Netball Club. She is deaf and bilaterally implanted with cochlear implants, but she refuses to let that stop her. And she works incredibly hard every day to always be at her best. So a big welcome to Isla at her very favourite team, the West Coast Fever. Thanks for joining us in this little segment. We're not far away from the first centre pass, but when we head to the break, who else do we want to talk about? She is absolutely one of the biggest stories this year, and she comes up against her former side today, and you can catch her in Off the Court. That is Courtney Bruce on screen right there, and you can catch that on Foxtel and KO.
The last 2 years have been probably the best but the worst times. I just get in the car from training and just cry my way home. Those accolades are fantastic. All those things are really great, but I would do anything over the last 2 years to be happy. Since moving here, it's been about trying to find that balance again. It's been realising that there is highs and lows, and that is a normal part of life, and not trying to control them or worry about them. I wanted to find that joy too of coming to training, and you know, the girls here make that so easy. They're absolute firecrackers, so there isn't a day that I hate coming to training here on the coast, which has been absolutely fantastic.
When the final whistle blows, we're just getting started. Pivot rides the high of netball's golden moments.
To win the game, the Adelaide Thunderbirds!
Reliving the jaw-dropping plays.
Well, I can't say I have ever seen anything quite like that.
And spotlighting the superstars. We delve deeper into the players' perspectives. Your full round wrap from 5:30 p.m. Sundays on Fox Netball.
Another episode of Pivot coming your way tonight. After the final game, we'll be wrapping up all the action and the headlines of the round, and special guests from the Giants, Sophie Dwyer. Thanks for joining us. Welcome back to RAC Arena. Welcome in to Caitlin Bassett. We are going to go straight down courtside now to one of the Fever stars. Last week in round 1, a formidable game from her, a terrific 2023 season. We welcome in Alice Teague-Neild. Hi Alice, thanks so much for joining us. You got us loud and clear?
Yes, hi Gordy, I can hear you.
Terrific. Al, I have to go straight to the emotion of this game. Your former captain in Courtney Bruce now gracing the court with the Sunshine Coast Lightning. How big is this and how is the team feeling?
Yeah, it's a massive game for us and it's our first home game and we know the significance of Courtney coming back. We're focusing on ourselves today, so can't wait.
Alice, obviously you and Janelle are incredibly connected in that circle, but there's somebody out there that we've spoken about lots, Courtney Bruce, who knows exactly what that connection looks like when it's working at its best. How do you prepare for somebody who knows the tools that you have in your toolbox?
I think Janelle's the best shooter in the world, so I think Jay knows what she's got to do today and how we get the ball to Jay. We're just focusing on what we do best, and yes, Courtney's a great defender, but we're just focusing on how we're going to play the game today.
Alice, you've got a sellout crowd here today at RAC Arena. How important is this crowd going to be when the crucial times come in this match?
Yeah, super important. I think the Green Army is the best in the business and we can't wait to hear the cheers of them today and further through the season.
Alice, thanks so much for your time. Get back to your
Thank
warm-up.
you.
Good on you. That's Alice Teague-Neal, wing attack, starting 7 for the West Coast Fever today. Girls, she is a terrific player. I keep wondering maybe one day will she play for the Diamonds. Last week in round 1, 50 feeds and 33 goal assists. That's a fairly impressive opening round 1 account, isn't it?
Yeah, look, she is a brilliant player and probably very underrated. We mentioned her name. She won so many wing attacks in Team of the Weeks last year, but that wing attack position is very hotly contested in the Diamonds, so consistency for her, and I guess proof that she can play in different lineups this year is going to go hugely for her in getting a selection, because she really is the stalwart in what is this new look Fever attack line.
Well, you're right, because there's a number of new players. She lines up with Shanice Beckford in that front end to begin with. I think in the off-season there was plenty of discussion that Shanice was a little inconsistent, Stace, but she certainly stepped out in round 1 and maybe silenced some of her critics, didn't she?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. She's a very slight figure out there on the netball court, but I would not take her lightly coming up against her. I think last week for me, she showed a really great level of confidence through familiarity. She was obviously against a teammate out there on court in Jodie Ann Ward, and then when she was feeding into the circle, she was working with a Fowler Nemard, who she's been playing with for years and years. She showed great confidence and an ability to play at this level, and I think we'll see more from her.
One of the other players that debuted, there was a number of debuts for the West Coast Fever last week, but one of the other players that debuted alongside Shanice Beckford was Kelsey Brown for her new club. We know that she certainly played a number of games elsewhere. Caitlin, it's a great story, isn't it? Because we didn't think we were going to get to see her in season 2024. Verity Simmons retires at the back end, hands the bib over to Kelsey Brown. 0 turnovers in 40 minutes last week. Was impressive, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I think fans were devastated to think that she wasn't going to pick up a contract, and she is just too good a player not to be on a list somewhere. So when that opportunity arrived here at the West Coast Fever, I think it was brilliant, her coming across. She slotted in perfectly. We were having a laugh before about her first win last week and how coming from the Magpies, where they really struggled for success, the feeling of winning for her is something that she really cherishes within this group, and looking forward to seeing her link tonight. The work that she does between the defence and the attack end is crucial.
So to their opposition in the Sunshine Coast Lightning, we know the big story tonight is around Courtney Bruce and Fowler Nemard, but there's also been another big story in the off-season, and that is Liz Watson, the former captain of the Melbourne Vixens, now joining her new club. Stepped onto the court last week, Stace. For me, didn't miss a beat again, just formidable. The Australian Diamonds captain doing what she does best.
She did, and I think you really do have to give extra credit for the ability to be able to do that. She's an incredibly consistent player. She brings star power to whichever lineup that she's in, but she has made a huge move. She played all of her netball at Vixens in very familiar lineups with a very familiar coach. She's moved now and she's able to do that same and almost elevate her game to another level.
Caitlin, your thoughts on Lizzie Watson? Does she get better as I just cop a ball in my backside? Thanks. And it was by Liz Watson,
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
She can hear us talking about it. Look, I think the great thing about Liz Watson is she's proving that it doesn't matter where she is, who's around her, she can stand up and deliver, and that really is testament to the quality of player that she is. She's not just a great leader, but she's that girl that you want on your team when things are in the crunch moments, and I think, you know, anyone could have been MVP in that team last week. Cara Conan stood up, she stood up, Fretwell stood up, and it's brilliant to see her just transitioning into this new club so easily.
Right, here's an intriguing question. So Steph Fretwell, we know how formidable she is. Now she has Liz Watson in at wing attack. We know the combination between her and Cara Conan is top-notch. Does Steph Fretwell now get better with Liz Watson on a weekly basis?
I think that's an excellent question, and for me the answer is yes. I think if there are any chinks in Fretwell's armour, it is if she's carrying an emotional and a physical load on behalf of her team. To add a Liz Watson in there, I think frees her up to be able to be the playmaker that she is, but also to have that extra level of fitness and mental capacity to shoot those goals and make those decisions in crunch moments that Lightning need.
Caitlin, she gets Anstis today. That's a tough ask. They've had some great battles historically.
Yeah, both very physical players. I can't wait to see this matchup. Both of them are not going to give each other an inch. They're probably going to be on the deck a lot, but that's what we love to see. Two fierce competitors going out for the ball. I think Anstis needs to be smart. We know Liz Watson is going to touch the ball a million times in this game, but how can she disrupt one or two of them in crucial moments?
All right, I know we've spoken about a number of players on the court, but let's get down to serious business here. Of course, none other than Courtney Bruce. So 13 years with the West Coast Fever, 102 games, returns for the very first time to what was the biggest home court she's ever played on. She left the club under. It was a tough time for her to make this decision. She wanted to grow her game, to be better, to hang in and extend her career. How does she feel right now?
Look, I would say she must be a bag of nerves. There's no way that coming back to this environment, but being an opposition, is not going to be a weird feeling. She signed for the club as a 16-year-old girl. She's a 30-year-old woman now. She's used to being absolutely loved in this environment, and as you said, I think there were definitely emotional reasons for having departed, and I think you would bring some of those back with you.
I think for her stepping out here today, there's going to be so many familiar faces, and that will almost put her at ease. Seeing so many faces that helped her throughout her career and got her to where she is at this stage, I think it's sometimes nice to be able to have a smile and a wave and acknowledge those people, because it is more than just what's happening on court. It is the game of netball as a whole, and I think it's great that she's back here today, and I think the fans are going to be really appreciative of her.
In round one, she had the 5 gains, a little slow early against the Swifts, and then I feel like she came home in true Courtney Bruce fashion. Caitlin, does she get to start like that today against none other than Janelle Fowler-Nemard?
Yeah, look, it's not easy for her today, that's for sure. And one thing we know about Courtney is she grows so much confidence when she has ball in hand, so she's going to be putting that pressure on herself from the get-go to really get out there and try and disrupt things. We know that she knows Fowler-Nemard inside out. The two of them, this matchup is going to be a real arm wrestle today, but I think for her, the things that she can control, her footwork, her attitude, her voice, are all things we're going to see from the very start of this game.
What does the crowd do when Courtney makes her first intercept?
Get very confused, because even as soon as you said Courtney Bruce intercept, I was like, oh, you get up and about and around her. I think there might be some reluctant claps and applauses, and I imagine that Fowler-Nemard would take that on her shoulders and as motivation to take a step forward.
Have a look at Fowler-Nemard there. Okay, so she is taking this, she's a fairly quiet person, Janelle, but that is a vision of someone that knows how important her game is. That is phenomenal, watching that. Coming up against her former teammate, in the first 3 minutes of this game, does it get argy-bargy? And I mean that netball's we're not a non-contact sport, but in Team Girls Cup, there was a lot of emotion between these two. What does this look like in the first few minutes?
For me, it's going to be a physical battle. Both players have great levels of respect for each other and what they're capable of. You don't take a backward step when you're stepping up against a world-class opponent, which both of them are doing today.
All right, well, it is the battle of a lifetime. It's the game of the round, folks. I'm sure at home you've made your prediction. Caitlin, what happens?
Oh, look, I think it's going to come down to the wide. Lightning will get it by 1.
Full-time draw, but Fowler-Nemard to shoot a super shot to win by 2.
All right, there you go. Well, one thing we can promise is this is going to be enormous. It is a huge crowd. Courtney Bruce steps back onto the court, and I tell you what, for a round 2 game on a Sunday, this promises to be brilliant. Don't go anywhere. There's the West Coast Fever host the Sunshine Coast Lightning with the first centre pass right after the break. Round 2 and our Sunday game of the round about to get underway. The West Coast Fever return home after a win in round 1, and they take on the Sunshine Coast Lightning. And there is the former captain of the West Coast Fever now playing for her new club. And you just feel a little bit for her, don't you? Stacey Francis Fame. And of course, the nervous energy that would have been building up to this round. I mean, she is an international superstar. She'll deal with it, but there will be just a moment of nerves right now for her before the game starts.
Yeah, absolutely. I think these are the moments that you can't necessarily control when you're out there on court. Everything starts to take over for itself, but hopefully she's taken a moment now to understand the experience that she's had to get to this moment, the way that she's built as a player to be ferocious and feared to be coming back to RAC Arena as an opponent.
West Coast Fever making their way out onto the court. Have a look at these scenes. An enormous crowd in here for a round 2 game. We'll get the numbers a little later on, but a number of new players for the club coming on and enjoying their new home, the RAC Arena. Sunday Ariang, terrific last week in closing down Sophie Dwyer. And the West Coast Fever, can they get the job done in front of the Green Army? Well, it will be no easy task because their opposition probably marked, without doubt, as the front runner this season, the team to chase, the team full of superstars and the best recruitment in the off-season. And led by that lady there in Courtney Bruce. Their captain is Steph Fratwell. But look at this. Let's keep our eyes right on this camera. Stacey Francis-Bayman. No acknowledgement of each other between Bruce and Fowler Nemard.
There was the coyest of handshakes, but then an immediate high five from Fowler Nemard to Beckford. She knows which side that she's on today, and I don't think she'll be cheering for Courtney Bruce.
All right, well, there's some good storylines in netball. There's no two ways about it. But without a doubt, this is the storyline that everyone's been waiting to see. The big names, when they leave a club and then they come back to play on their former home turf. And then West Coast Fever will get the game underway. And there's a direct pass from Beckford into Fowler Nemard. The home side light up the post first on 1 goal their way.
And Courtney Bruce listening into that pre-game commentary, she's doing exactly what Caitlin Bassett suggested. She's out hunting early, wanting to be threatened as West Coast Fever get their first turnover for the game.
So Fran Williams came off the bench last week, but starts in goalkeeper for the Fever. And there's the transition. They did that last week with 100% return to post as Fowler Nemard. Was that a nervous first shot or second shot from her?
Yes, I agree. It's uncharacteristic, let's say that.
So good start from the home side, and there's Bruce. It's a contact call though, just the inside arm. But the message is clear. Bruce out hunting early. Beckford lines up, slots in one for her. Have a look at this.
Excellent vision there on the Harvey Norman replay. Bruce finds a really great line and very bold coming out of that circle again. Second opportunity in a row.
Contact the call. So Fretwell, quick offload. We'll see that plenty of times. Shooter to shooter. Their connection is seamless. Conan and Fretwell. Teague Neal, depth from Beckford. Here's Kelsey Brown.
And this is the challenge that Lightning have on their hands now, as we see a miss there from Beckford. Lightning straight on the scraps, knowing that they won't get many of those today. The challenge with a Fowler Nemard in that circle is, do you pay her attention or do you respect both oppositions at once?
Bruce at the line, swings out wide. Ava Black in at wing defence, starts. Cassidy. Good use of the pocket. There's Lizzie Watson, and then sights Conan. Contest coming in from Williams. It'll be a contact, so a chance here for the Lightning to score off a Fever centre pass. Not to be, but the rebound with Conan. And they take it. And it'll be their centre pass. Belinda Reynolds back to Perth. Saw that her family came over out on the boat in the beautiful sunny weather yesterday.
Couple of uncharacteristic misses early from both sides. Is it because it is a slightly earlier game, or is it because of nerves and the hype of this blockbuster match, ladies?
All the above. Just thought that was a good moment there by Bruce. She's questioning the umpire as she returns to the middle, but just being able to keep Fowler read away from the post as the shooter-to-shooter connection. Fretwell to Conan on the baseline. The wins for Courtney Bruce. Have a look at that Harvey Norman replay. The wins for Courtney Bruce are just over 60 minutes, just forcing Fowler, Nemard to take shots from further a distance.
Absolutely. We do want to see her aggressive and out hunting as we have done, but you can't expect that to always turn into an intercept. Keeping that positive mental attitude and the relationship with the umpire as well will pay dividends.
Hinchcliffe in her second game, back from knee injury. Great to see her, and she'll certainly build in confidence as the weeks go on. So blow for blow early in this opening quarter. Watson centres up with Cassidy. Great move to the circle edge and a little bounce pass, a hand from Ariang, but falls to the Lightning goal attack.
Possibly more of a goal assist than a tip for Ariang there, unfortunately.
So again, you can just see there, Bruce just forcing Fowler Nemard forward. Watson, good swing, Ariang, sights. Couple of early touches for Ariang.
Yeah, really encouraging to see. We have started to speak about her as a bit more of a shutdown player, especially the role that she played last week against Dwyer, but she's more than capable of coming off and winning clean ball.
Steph Fretwell lines up from mid-range, very formidable area of the court for her. Makes it count, 6 all. Chance here for the Lightning defence, but Teague Neal cuts through. Sights Fowler Nemard. Look at the big arm Bruce. Needed to get her distance though. Backwards to Hinchcliffe. Oh, nowhere to go. Force the ball, so good defence through the middle for the West Coast Fever.
Tunnelled in on just one option there for Hinchcliffe, really putting herself under pressure.
Brown steadies. Ariang. Brown again. So look at the speed. Tells Beckford to look down. Instead gets the return ball. And there you go. The Fever attack looking quite similar to the way they did last week.
Very composed there, working through a really great box from the Lightning, who were hedging, looking aggressive, trying to make space appear more open than it actually was.
2-goal break here with the centre pass to follow for the Fever. Teague Neal. Nemard. Very focused early. 8 from 9 for her. Oh, Conan. How good was Conan last week? Caitlin Bassett. Oh, gee, rebound opportunity. The post gets tapped and the ball goes in.
She was absolutely brilliant, 50 from 53. What I'm loving so far about this contest, though, with Fran Williams, they're both moving, and what I love is Williams is able to cover that moving shooter as well as a holding shooter, so it's really making Courtney Bruce work that baseline. Courtney Bruce, she's not working the baseline.
Cara Conan. Used to. Big take from Fowler. Nemard put under all sorts of pressure, but makes it count. So the break to the Fever by 3. Hinchcliffe. Conan out, no one in the circle, but that's not unfamiliar for the Lightning. And they find their way through the captain. And a held ball.
Those are gold moments for defenders. I would take a held ball any day. Great defensive pressure, which really makes the team unite in that moment, knowing that they collectively caused a held ball.
Anstis was terrific last week as the captain, the new captain of the West Coast Fever, and there's a little touch and a win for Courtney Bruce.
Not quite enough on it from that feed there from Beckford, and Bruce absolutely waiting for any fraction of an error of the Fever ball coming in. As we see there on that Harvey Norman replay, gets a fantastic outside arm.
Down the line to Watson, she'll cross court to the space with Fretwell. Oh, keep your eyes on Cassidy and Brown. That little contest just creating a bit of animosity between the two. Neither would step back, I imagine, from what we've seen historically in their play. Beckford, lovely second phase, and then the connection to Fowler Nemard.
Goalkeeper's worst nightmare when the feeder lands on that circle edge, knowing that there's a one-on-one opportunity against one of the best shooters in the world.
Black, good vision. Williams out hunting, just a little late. Looking for Conan, had to play around with it and then forces the ball wide. So pressure on this Lightning attack end early. And then pressure on that pass to Sunday Ariang. So the Lightning a chance to rectify here. Cassidy. In fairness, we talk so much about the big names as Fretwell steps back, doesn't like it, that's better. But what about Cassidy? She's had a good start here. Sitting on 18.5, this 20 Nissa net points, the most of anyone for the Lightning. Can't forget those that don't come with the big price tags.
Incredibly impressive start to the game and coming with discipline, which is the most important.
Lovely finish for Shanice Beckford, 2 from 3 at 66% last week, so we'll look to increase the accuracy, no doubt. Big high ball, Conan, well placed.
Time Fran Williams and knots in that moment there. I don't know about you, but I'm keeping my eye on that clock as it ticks down to that 5-minute mark.
So the power 5 about to come into play here. You'll hear the siren. There she is. In the next 5 minutes, where the score has an opportunity to go up by 1s or 2s. Last week, both sides interestingly using as needed. 6 from 8 super shots from Steph Fretwell was the one that stands out for me, though. Watson, at that transverse line, doesn't know where to go, so sights black. Backspace used. And again, Conan.
That change that we've seen there in the goalkeeping circle, Dehaney coming on against her old team in the Lightning, definitely there for me to put a little bit of height over the ball during that super shot period, really get into the shooters' minds.
Beckford has to go up nice and high. The rebounder, of course, is Fowler Nemard. So they hold their 3-goal lead here, the West Coast Fever, and it's a breaking call. And if you're new to the game or you know sport, it is a coach killer. They're the unnecessary moments where you are in complete control of the outcome. Can Fever punish? Beckford sights quickly. Fowler Nemard steps around Bruce. It's a terrific reach by Courtney Bruce, though.
Fever with a fantastic opportunity here to try and score back-to-back goals. Their centre pass.
Big hands. Teague Neal, though, finds a way over. 14 from 15 for the Jamaican international. In at goal shooter and a little touch off the hand. Sees the ball land with Sunday Ariang. So another opportunity here for the West Coast Fever, and critically important in this super shot power 5 period, Stace.
Absolutely, the game can be opened up so quickly when both teams have that capacity to score 2s.
Well, defensively, the Lightning did everything then to cover their direct opponents.
Yeah, I really like the variety that they were adding there in that moment. Bruce going out hard on arguably the super shot threat in that moment of Beckford. Leaving a reliable Fowler Nemard available at the post.
Well, Fowler Nemard last week stepped out on the court in round 1, took 3 super shots and nailed them in the opening quarter, but at this stage there's been no sight of that just yet. Scoreline sitting at 18-11. Of course, potentially that's why, as Riley Bachelor now comes on in at goal shooter. And she herself shot 2 super shots. This lady is the threat, though, for the Lightning, and that is why The first Suncorp super shot dropping for the captain. Scoreline now sitting at 5, the difference. Great contest from Black. Contact call though.
What a luxury Reynolds has to be able to pull that pin, make that super shot change in the circle.
The fly from Bruce. Ball goes out though. So that'll give Courtney Bruce a bit of confidence over the shot of Shanice Beckford. Just under 90 seconds to play out in the opening quarter.
Smart, great quick work there. Ball into Beckford, but just offloads it to Falvers. We're going to see a change there in the back of shot. Hinchcliffe moves to the bench as Irving comes on at goal defence, absolutely towering over her direct opponent in Beckford.
Backspace used. Shot 3 here last week at this exact position. And she'll take another look at it. Haney the obstruction. So she'll have the threat of Bachelor door as well, but doesn't need it. Fretwell stepping up for her side early. 2 straight Suncorp super shots. The scoreline now at 4. 43 seconds to play out.
And easier said than done, but you have to have elite discipline in those moments not to give away second shots in that super shot zone.
You're a defender. Talk me through it, how difficult that is.
It is difficult, but I think you would rather err on the side of caution, give that 3 feet 1 centimetre to make sure that the umpire knows you're being disciplined, because you don't want to let that shooter shoot twice.
So time to score here, and maybe a centre pass for the West Coast Fever. Bachelor door steadies. That's a beautiful shot from the youngster. Scoreline at 3. Fever will need to go quick and big here. Beckford, 5 seconds, and then it's an intercept. So no awareness from Beckford to go long. And that's a mini win there for the Lightning on the knock of the clock. Oh, terrific opening quarter here at RAC Arena, and the home side go in with a 3-goal lead. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after the break. Plenty of action from RAC Arena.
Welcome back to RAC Arena, where the West Coast Fever are leading the Sunshine Coast Lightning by 3 goals. I'm joined by a very familiar face here in Verity Simmons. Vez, what's more stressful, being on the sideline or being on court?
Sideline for sure. I can't control anything or do anything to help, and I'm hating sitting here right now.
How good is it seeing Kelsey Brown out there in that centre position? Tell us what that feels like for you.
I'm stoked to see Kels out there and to have her back on court with a contract as she deserves. I said to the girls, I want someone who's absolutely better than me and going to kill it out there, and that's exactly what she's doing. I'm loving seeing it. I think a big season ahead for Kels.
And tell us about your own pre-season AFLW with the West Coast Eagles. How is that different from what you did with the Fever?
Absolutely everything. I'm sore today after a game yesterday, learning how to kick on the fly. I've got some girls up here at the moment that have come out to watch the game. So, yeah, I'm just loving my role. It's awesome.
Well, congratulations. Great to see you here. We're armchair experts now. Let's enjoy the game. Give us one more big Let's Go Fever.
Let's go, Fever!
Gee, one of the great characters of the game. What a time, brought to you by Origin Energy. Courtney Bruce back to Perth. And the scoreline, 3 the difference. So terrific opening quarter. Stacey Francis-Bayman, was it the emotion that we expected?
I think it was nervousness. That's definitely what it felt like to me. Both teams seemed to start a little bit slowly. Lightning committing 6 general play turnovers in that first quarter, which is huge in comparison to round 1 where they only had 12.
So back into it. Sides switch ends. It's the way the game works. Mahalia Cassidy, terrific opening quarter. Nissan net points. Powered by E-Power. She was sitting at 30, and the highest for her side. Kelsey Brown the same at 30.5, the best for her. So the 2 centres having great opening quarters. Watson, and then that seamless connection with Cara Conan.
Great patience there by the Lightning attackers to work that ball around.
Brown Teague Neal. There's that beautiful high release, but there's too much on it, and clever footwork from Courtney Bruce.
Yeah, really great work there. We did hear in the quarter-time break Dan just saying, Fowler's on, send it in. But I imagine it wants it sent in with a little bit more finesse than that.
Again, terrific reach up for Bruce, rebounding. Offensive goes with one of the best in the league at it, Fowler Nemart.
Beckford struggling to find that accuracy at the post early in the game over the great defence of Lightning.
Conan swings back, Fretwell slots into that comfortable position, it opens, Conan in the back space. Setting start here in the second. A little bit of a space or box defence there from the Lightning. Fever finding their way through it reasonably easy.
Wayward pass there on the Lightning centre. Hinchcliffe not able to keep it in and find a teammate. Anstis more than ready to pick up the scraps. Fever taking it straight down court, punishing Lightning with a goal.
So both sides having big wins in round one. This will feel a little different out on court at the moment. Good challenge. It's let go, a throw-in, or, yep, throw-in will be the call. So that contest continuing between Kelsey Brown and Mahalia Cassidy in the centre. Harvey Norman replay showing you just that. Better defence here from the Lightning, forcing the Fever to play a few extra balls. Beckford goes again. Look at Bruce just keeping Fowler, Nemart away from the post. I kept saying they are the incremental wins over 60 minutes of netball.
They are, and you feel great reward when you feel like you push Fowler, Nemart away from the post until she takes that step in and you find that she's actually just still shooting from underneath the post.
Breaking the call for Fever.
Williams getting caught on the back. Oh, Conan with a very rare miss.
Speaking of which, her first for the game. She's had 10 from 11 at 91%. 94% last week with just the 3 misses, notched up a half century. Beckford on the baseline, a little better from her that time.
Excellent through court by Fever there. Sunday Ariane taking a hard drive right to the line in the middle of the court and breaking open that Lightning box defence.
Out to the back, Irvin now in at goal defence. So Belinda Reynolds continuing to rotate her defensive end to find some solutions. Conan out, Cassidy crafting her way along the circle edge. I should say along, not a wrong.
I quite like what you're doing there. I thought it was smart, along and around.
A Gordianism. There's a couple. Steadying. Shot for Steph Fretwell. Beckford didn't like the look of Teague Neal, so goes backwards. Here's the pressure on now from the Lightning. Over to Kelsey Brown, too much on it, so terrific defensive effort. Pressuring the home side. Now the conversion moment for the Lightning. Conan and Cassidy. Swing it open, who pops base and top? Well, it's Fretwell on the base, rocks back in, Fretwell fashion and does what Fretwell does. Her 5th goal.
During that turnover moment, we had a personnel change in the goalkeeper bid for Fever. Fran Williams going to the bench, Katie Underhaney coming on at goalkeeper.
It's interesting, both coaches sort of, I guess, behaving similarly here, switching their defence around. We know how, I guess, formidable, I use that word again, both of these front ends are for both sides.
Absolutely, and to let your opponents get comfortable gives them an edge.
The Diamonds in attack for the Lightning, and it's the Jamaicans in attack for the West Coast Fever. You pay money at international games to see that. Here we are in the world's best netball competition. right in front of our eyes. There's Beckford. Oh, lovely left hand from Irvin, and that's what she's out there to do. Stretch those long limbs. So a few shaky minutes through the middle for both sides here. 6-5 the scoreline this quarter. Cleaver leading by 4. They held a 3-goal lead at quarter time. Offload, Beckford, foul and Emma. Caitlin Bassett, how have you seen Beckford?
I think she's doing a brilliant job. I think the speed that she can bring into that attacking end, that really draws a defender back and off Fallon Nemard. In that one-on-one contest, it's so hard. As we can see, they're just answers doing absolutely everything. I told you she'd hit the deck a few times tonight, ladies, and there you go. What a brilliant tip, as we can see on the Harvey Norman replay. She ends up landing on the ball, which will probably hurt as well. But back to Beckford, I think she's doing a brilliant job. I think the feed into Fallon Nemard just needs to be a little bit more pinpoint, because she's up against Courtney Bruce, who can out-jump, out-reach, and out-manoeuvre when needed.
So back into the action, 8 minutes to play. Great moment there by the Fever captain, Anstis.
Contact on the ball.
Contact on the ball. Fretwell does. For the difference. Backwards to Ariang. So again, the pressure on from the Lightning has been better in this second quarter to force the home side backwards, Stace.
It has. The centre pass defence for Lightning has definitely gone up. Fever were scoring at 89% in that first quarter. They're slowly starting to chip them down, and for me that's coming with great first phase, really delaying them having the one option at the line.
It's an obstruction call, unlucky. Just a shift right at the end there from Irvin, which drew the whistle from the umpire. So the West Coast Fever slot in another one, and they lead now by 5. And it's a HCF tactical timeout. It's the first one of the game. We'll go to the opposition. Belinda Reynolds, head coach, calling this one. And we'll pop straight inside the huddle and hear from her right now.
Like deeper and you higher, go deep, yep, and then make that connection, yes, to the centre. Nice and definite sheet in here in the middle, yes, and just balance that. You two, switching it over. All right, I want you to just pick and choose your stuff out there. Don't overcommit. We can play positional squat. We can play positional switches. Alrighty. And Shanice is sitting deep for second phase, just sitting there and then releasing that off there. So either you sit it or you have a look at it and you feel. Alright? Okay. We need that communication between the fly and the field. Yeah. Alright? We need to get out to those Shanice balls as well. Yeah. And the other one feel back to go. Here we go. I've got another timeout. We'll run hard, relentless here. Well, let's get ourselves back into the 1-point netball. Let's go. What are you doing? Sorry, we're not celebrating that. Get around each other, voices up. Celebrate those kids. Let's go. 1, 2, 1, 2.
So plenty to discuss, wasn't there, in that break? And of course, Belinda Reynolds, she's got a defensive background and heads straight to Bruce and Irvin. And of course, they know they've got their work cut out here. Fowler sitting at 25 from 26 days.
Absolutely, and whilst they've started the game really well, they don't want to let any type of scoreline open up or players to get comfortable. They've made some great changes there. Irvin to goalkeeper, Bruce out to goal defence, Black on the wing defence, and moving Watson and Mai into the opposing positions.
Caitlin, what about the Fever?
Yeah, look, Dan Ryan singing the praises of Shanice Beckford, just like we were, went straight up to her and said, keep doing those cuts, keep doing those drives. You're really drawing defenders outside that circle, so expect to see her continue that brilliant movement.
Lisa Mai in at wing attack. Now for the Lightning. Irvin back in at keeper, Bruce at goal defence. Oh, good first ball contest. So Beckford now having to think her way through a different opponent.
Exactly what I was going to say. She's just going to have to do that little bit extra. Bruce's closing speed is fantastic. So whilst Beckford has her ability to get free and use her speed and change of direction, Bruce can close that gap.
Bruce backwards, Fretwell. Black out wide here. Not needed though, because great depth from My. Jess Anstice again. She's menacing around that pocket. Oh, a little bit of a hustle. Lightning continuing to chip away. They are staying well within range here of the West Coast Fever. Beckford off the hands of Teague Neal, and then over the top of the big duo. Lightning defence. Lizzie Watson had to do a 360 to find My. Hands from the captain in Anstice. Fretwell out. I like what My has brought to the court immediately.
She has. She's brought an incredible amount of speed there as we see a great tip and chase down by Ariane.
Power 5 moment. Lizzie Watson off balance, somehow knows where to place the ball to Conan.
Fever defenders caught napping in that moment, giving Lightning an opportunity to shoot 2, which unfortunately they miss. Fever quick into transaction.
Brown connects through the middle. Teague Neal. Oh, great first ball from Ash Irvin. Read it from the second it left the hand of the Fever and pulled it in against Fowler Nemard. So maybe just a bit of a lifter here for the Lightning.
Have a look here at this Harvey Norman replay. Great line to the ball, strong and firm in that contest with 2 hands.
My had to balance to keep it in play and then straight into Conan. So a good moment for the Lightning. It was their centre pass. They had to work for it. There's the shooting stats, bottom of your screen. Here goes Fowler Nemard, being good from here in round 1 and continues.
Leaving
Have a listen to the crowd. Caitlin Bassett, could you hear a thing in that moment?
I've said it before and I'll say it again. It is not fair that that woman can do stuff like that because she is an absolutely huge threat now. As we can see, Steph Fretwell really awkward landing. She looks very uncomfortable on the sideline. We can see Riley Batchelor has got a goal to take people on just in case a quick change is needed. Let's have a look at the replay.
Oh, yep, right outside foot. And they can be, so both of you have played, you know they can be stingers or they can actually be a lot more than that. And in a moment of replay, it's almost impossible to understand, isn't it?
It is, and Fretwell she doesn't take things lightly. She's obviously in a great level of discomfort and pain. Those moments are horrible. They're horrible to watch back. Fantastic replay there by Harvey Norman, but Fretwell really looking quite uncomfortable and obviously going to take a few seconds to gather herself in this moment.
Caitlin, what happens in this moment? She goes off, she gets treatment. I mean, I recall a grand final that you played in at this court where Steph Fretwell left in similar uncomfort and came back and won the bloody premiership for them.
Yeah, that's right. It forced Cara Conan into goal attack, which was actually a stroke of brilliance. And I think Riley Batchelor just coming on here and adding a bit of different movement into that attacking end for the Lightning, I think can be really dangerous. We know she can shoot a super shot as well, so have a look at this.
Well, she can do this for the captain, and what an important moment to be. She's going to have another look at it. The obstruction on Dehaney. Not so for the youngster, but the ball kept in by Conan, but the Fever land with it. And gee, they're quick to transition. 3 minutes to play out in this second quarter. If you've just joined us, the captain for the Lightning, Steph Fretwell. An injury to the right ankle will keep Caitlin Bassett all over that, but she has left the court and is seeking treatment. And the Fever convert.
Incredibly confident feed in there by Alice Teague Neal off the circle, but lets it go off the hand in that first second. Doesn't give the defenders a chance to have a look at it.
Brown into the pocket. So they've just worked their way out on this scoreline. They'll take the single, the West Coast Fever, 14-9 this quarter. Now extending their lead to 8. And there's our Nissan net points, powered by E-Power and Beckford, sitting right at the top.
I was just about to say incredible speed and power from my mind in that moment, but almost a little bit too much as she fired that ball in there to the circle.
There she is again. She's something to contend with, isn't she, young Shanice Beckford? I say young, 28. Is that still young?
It was the age that I came into SSN, Sue.
Was it?
It was, and you called me old then too.
I did? So Fowler Nemard just steadies. Courtney Bruce. Well, just as I say her name, she comes through with the goods. She can be absolutely devastating in that first phase contest as a goal defence, and she's shown just why. And wasn't that a nice moment? The old captain being picked up by the new captain of the West Coast Fever. Sunday Ariang, the fly. Well, it lands. Listen to the crowd.
My goodness, Ariang has been threatening every single ball in this game. She's been giving that physical contest, but coming off and having a challenge for ball in space, and boy, is she being rewarded.
Caitlin Bassett, any news on Steph Fretwell?
Yeah, look, I just had to wander over. She's very, very uncomfortable. I can see the medic and her physio both shaking their head. I would be really surprised if she came back out into the court, just the level of discomfort that she's showing right now.
And we're round 2, Caitlin. There's a long season ahead and they're going to need her.
That's right. She's an integral part of this attack end. She's not just the captain, but obviously she does so much damage at that attack end. It gives an opportunity for Riley Batchelor to step up, but it really does throw a spanner in the works in that lightning attack.
There she's on screen. Plenty of people around her doing what they do best. Oh, gee, wheels falling off here at the moment for the Lightning. The West Coast Fever with 10 seconds to score. Beckford sights Fowler Nemard. The big step in steadies. Oh, and it just rolls in. And that'll be the last score of the half. And a monstrous quarter for the home side. A 17-9 quarter, and sets them up with a real confident halftime lead at 37-26. And they've been impressive, the home side. And they certainly took advantage of the moment that Fretwell went down. Riley Batchelor came on, and then they did everything they could to try and tick that scoreboard over. Let's get straight down to Caitlin Bassett with a lady who's got a lot of pressure on her shoulders as we head into the second half.
That's right. So I'm here with Cara Conan. Cara, tough first half. We saw lots of different defenders being thrown on you. What does it feel like out there on court?
Yeah, it's not very nice in attack. We are getting really stalled and caught up on the body and getting sucked into their physicality. So I think that we just need to give ourselves some space, really see the D, use our fakes, because I think when we're using them, they're getting the call. So
Steph Fretwell going down, how much of a spanner is that to the works in your attack end?
Yeah, I think that we pride ourselves on having a really strong bench. So obviously we're losing that leadership. So I think it's a real good opportunity for the rest of us to step up. And Brew is an absolute weapon in the 2-point as well. And it's a good challenge for me to take him as well.
What do you have to do to claw back this lead in the last half?
I think just go back to executing our skills. We just got to make sure we're doing our pre-work and our dead ball time to beat our defenders one-on-one.
Thanks for the chat. Good luck.
Thanks.
Good on you, Caitlin. Well, yep, there you go. 37-26 sets up for a very intriguing second half. Don't forget a Super Sunday of netball this game, and then immediately after, two sides looking for their first win of the season, where we'll head to Sydney and the Swifts will take on the Mavericks.
This season, I am going to be bringing fire and a do-not-care attitude.
Finds Cardwell.
Smart play from Cardwell.
Stay hungry, stay thirsty, don't be afraid to get down and dirty.
Housby says, we're going up. Wallace Joseph firing it on to Housby.
We came to fight all night until
The Swifts are the team to beat this season.
So put your flags up and raise them high. We're going for the gold, we'll get the prize.
Be the first to know. Every second of the big plays debated. Pivoting into our third year making headlines. It's your all-out Netty Fix. The Fourth Quarter Podcast. New apps every Thursday. Find it now on your podcast app on Fox Netball.
Well, welcome back to RAC Arena. All I can say is this crowd is being whipped into an absolute frenzy at the moment. There's Steph Fretwell, which is good news. Don't know that she'll be on the court at this point, but we'll keep you amongst it. We're going to take this moment to go straight down to the head coach of the West Coast Fever, Dan Ryan. I have no idea whether you can hear me or not, but I'm going to open up by saying not just a great start, but have a look around. This is your club. Are you thrilled with what you see?
It's amazing, and to have so many first-timers getting to experience today is unbelievable. So we're put on a good show so far, but there's a long, long way in this game to go.
Dan, I can't help but want to talk to you about Sunday Ariang. I know there was a lot of excitement around her in the pre-season in terms of what she brought back from that international environment. She's on 3 intercepts, 5 deflections. How are you feeling about her game today?
She is out of control today. She's been training the house down, playing so well, and she's just got a new lease of life this year, and I'm loving seeing her do her business out there.
Fever seemed to have a new lease of life in that second quarter, taking it 17-9. What do you think the difference was, and where did they start to gap Lightning?
Yeah, I think we really started to open up in attack and just grow in a little bit more confidence in our connections and playing a little bit more direct to the circle, and defence, I think, starting to reap the rewards of the grind. So got to stick to task now, because job nowhere near done.
All right, Dan, back to it.
Thanks, guys.
Dan Ryan, head coach of the West Coast Fever, premiership coach in 2022, and third last year, wanting to go a couple better. So Bachelor Door still on the court here, but a switch into goal shooter Conan at goal attack. An interesting opening 5 minutes of this quarter, just to see whether or not the Lightning can gain a bit of confidence and get some early ball. You're going to have to stop that lady, though. Janelle Fowler, goal number 33. Conan. Out wide to Maimo, who's off the circle edge. The big swing back to Conan, covering some miles, as is the ball. And again. So the Lightning working their way through here to goal will get straight down to their head coach, no doubt watching this moment.
Yes.
Belinda, welcome back to WA once again. Straight to you, Steph Fretwell, where are we at?
Yeah, obviously not ideal for us. We certainly miss her leadership out there, but we've strapped her up, so she's a tough cookie. I think she'll get out there again.
Belinda, that won't have been the second quarter that you would have wanted to see from the Lightning. Fever felt like that they were taking a more direct passage to goal. Is that what reflects in the defensive changes that you've made there in the circle?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought Fever were getting great depth and then sliding Janelle nice and early, so the extra height up there will hopefully delay ball.
And then how does it feel to be on that opposition side in front of a crowd like this? Obviously, you've been back here before, but RAC Arena is a pretty great place to play.
Oh, it really is. The fans are very passionate. I'd like a few more in yellow, but we understand they're very passionate and we're happy to play in front of them.
Welcome back, B, and enjoy the rest of the game.
Thank you. Bye.
Linda Reynolds, head coach of the Sunshine Coast Lightning. And great news for Lightning fans. She did say Steph Fretwell potentially comes back out onto the court at some stage. Even sooner than expected, as she makes her way down to have a chat with the coach. Keeping our eye just on that, whether she's popping a bib on. No, just grabbing one of the lolly. No, grabbing a bib. There you go.
For me, it would probably be a goal shooter bib based on that discomfort in the ankle, but...
So wayward ball there for the Fever. The Lightning pick up the game. The Crumbs. Big right arm from Bruce. Oh, and then the splits, and oh, gee. Sunday Ariang immediately grabbing the left knee. Well, there you go. It was a, look at this, the wind up from Bruce, the contest, and then the splits. And then straight off, she's smiling. It doesn't look too bad. Fran Williams having a joke with her. Do you think she's a bit more embarrassed about the splits?
It certainly looked very uncomfortable. But everybody was sat there with bated breath in that moment. Courtney Bruce was sprinted straight over to have a check. We'll maybe cut the camera away in case the ice has to go to
I don't. She has
an uncomfortable area.
She's grabbed her groin.
Yes, there you go.
Potentially that's where the pain is. And why wouldn't it be? Back into it. So Fran Williams comes in at goal defence. And this moment is off a Beckford ball that went a little astray. So a chance for the Lightning to grab a fever centre pass. They've done that, and they'll a chance here to go 2 in a row, much needed. Oh, Bachelor thought about the quick connection with Conan. Little step back, they swing it open.
Oh, excellent work there on the baseline. Cara Conan able to keep that in and send it straight back to her teammate. How fantastic to see Bachelor on the court after such a significant injury and time out of the game. Has not missed a beat.
So Williams used through the back, Brown again. So here again the Lightning go. Their defence through the middle, forcing Fever to have to really work here.
Centre, contact.
Really high level of physicality from both teams here, not giving an inch, slowing both teams down so that they don't have that direct passage to goal. Easing the pressure there.
Yeah, over Black again, just another contact. She's had a few. And Beckford finishes. So Black sitting on 25.5 Nissa net points. Teague Neal now up on 54.5. Black was impressive last week when she came on the court. She's going to be a real star of the future, if not already. So Dehaney left with a double act here for the Lightning. And Riley Rue Bachelor 4 straight in the ones, 1 from 2 in the super shot. And it's 5-all this quarter. So no inroads made by the Lightning, as Irvin has a really good look at it.
She does. That ball sat in the air for a little bit of time there. I'm not so certain that that was the safest of options, but incredibly brave contest by Irving.
Janelle Fowler continues. 36 goals from her. Conan now doing a lot of the work out the front, being absolutely ridden by Williams. That's an obstruction call on Brown. Nice little roll, Bachelor d'Or. Such an impressive looking athlete, isn't she?
Looking very at home back out there.
Heavily strapped on the knee, but that will be precautionary only after a couple of years. And here's great news, back of screen, folks. Look at this, Fretwell coming onto the court. In at goal shooter, so she'll steady back in a formidable role as Beckford.
My goodness, I would love to see that replay. The smallest player on court contesting with one of the best interception players in Suncorp, as you see in this Harvey Norman replay. Beckford, body on the line, puts her own goal assist out there too.
Well, there was plenty of talk as now Williams comes through for the ball. Plenty of talk in the off-season that from Dan Ryan around Beckford being a fan favourite. The crowd erupted. I'm sure it was because she took an intercept off Bruce, just playing into the antics of the game. But she's really making a name for herself, isn't she?
She is, and she's bringing that complete level to her game. Last week she had a couple of intercepts, which is exactly what you want to see from your goal attack. It's more than you expect sometimes, to be honest, from your goal attack.
So the Lightning keeping Fever fairly honest in this quarter, 7 apiece. That's probably the first passage in a little while where it's flowed quite easily. Their defence has definitely picked up. Fretwell. Again, just being ridden. Caitlin Bassett. Just keep your eye on Fretwell. Looking still a little bit ginger on that ankle.
I don't think you're allowed to say that. She is a ginger. She has red hair. She is a little ginger, but you know, what we're lacking, I think, in the Lightning attacking circle at the moment is Steph Fretwell normally takes that front hard drive. She cuts and she draws a defender. With Cara Conan out in goal attack, she's not taking that front. She's slipping to the back. That's forcing Steph to have to drive out. So a little bit of tinkering, a little bit more communication for them to settle in that circle.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice. Riley seems to be doing a fantastic job, and Fretwell is a little bit laboured on that foot, but she brings a bit more than her physicality to the game. She's definitely a leader out there on court.
Through the back to Bruce. There's Fretwell out high. We'll have to work hard to get to circle. There you go, watching Dehaney just cover her, but doesn't matter though because Conan finds entry and then the back space. So a nice passage there for the Lightning. 6.5 minutes to play out in this third quarter. Blow for blow. Anstis, the captain, look at the patience here from Fever. Is it patience or is it pressure? Well, that is just sweet.
That's precision. Fantastic off-circle feed there by Beckford. I think she's enjoying that physical battle that she's getting with Bruce.
Conan. Roles changed. Fretwell in it, shooter. A lot of work going to Conan. Hasn't her... Actually, I will come to you, Katie, on this as HCF tactical timeout called by the Lightning. How much has Conan's game grown at goal attack?
Yeah, absolutely. She's a huge threat. I think for her, not only is she mobile, she's got great elevation. She is so dangerous in helping defend in that middle third when they do turn the ball over. What I would love, though, is she's getting some goals. As we can hear, the coach is going to talk to her straight away now. Let's have a listen.
Steph, we need to go for him. Yep. All right. So going back to goal defence. Courtney, come here. All right, you two just need to go for this parallel balls, yeah? All right. We're going to sit high because they're going to go for parallel balls. If they sink back, we have to be on the watch next as well. All right. Need to take risks here. Yeah. Yes. Just stay on that important defence. Yes. Let's make sure we get a mid to the top of the circle as well so we can open up those angles. Yes. Let's go here. Let's go again. Energy up. Come on. Lightning on two. 1, 2. Lightning. Keep it going, girls.
So the West Coast Fever and Ryan. Probably a gentle reminder at 5 minutes 40 what the Lightning are capable of delivering. 10 apiece this quarter. So the scoreline remaining at the 11. Let's not forget yesterday's game where the Giants were in exactly the same predicament and got right back to be within a goal and gave themselves a red-hot chance to win the game against the Firebirds. Just heard Belinda Reynolds, the coach's Cassidy, a little late, went straight to Fretwell and said, go for it.
Yeah, Reynolds giving them licence to take some risks out there. Exactly what you want to hear from your coach.
So Teague Neal had to work 3 or 4 efforts to eventually find circle edge. Then the quick release to Fowler. Nemard, they had that one to the end. So goal defence out of play for the Fever. On the baseline. The shot not there and the rebound just as the Power 5 siren goes. Good news for Fever fans. Sunday Ariang back on the court at goalkeeper. Dare I say she's had physio treatment to the area required.
I was going to say, is goalkeeper known to be easier on the groin or?
I don't know, it's easier on the ankle for Steph Fretwell. And there you go, the first of the antics really that we've seen between Fowler, Nemard and Bruce. So the West Coast Fever. Again, direct to the post. Fowler, Nemard falling out of court, finds her teammate. Lovely swing to the pocket. Then the quick release from Kelsey Brown.
Fantastic work there by the Fever. Lightning doing the absolute most to slow them down. The game had nothing in it, but those 2 goals in a row from Fever has given them a little 3-goal buffer.
So the defensive pressure on the Lightning. Beckford swings to Brown with some space. Goes again. Gee, she's had a high work rate, hasn't she? And then patiently awaits the open from her goal shooter. And they chip away the West Coast Fever.
Incredible work there. That's the 3rd goal in a row for the West Coast Fever. Their centre pass starting to open up this quarter now. 14 goals to 10. Oh my goodness. That pass there by Alice Teague-Neal into Janelle Fowler, who eventually takes it back and will score that 1-point goal.
So it's interesting, as soon as that power 5 siren went, Caitlin, the scoreline went from 10-all to 15-10 in this quarter.
Which is really interesting because Dan Ryan said to his troops, they have to shoot 2-pointers to stay in this match. And we saw that. Fretwell, she knows she can do it. Riley Batchelor, she can shoot the long bomb. So the pressure really is on the Sunshine Coast Lightning.
Well, there's one Suncorp super short for the captain. This quarter, she's now had 3 from 4. Bruce in front. Somehow still lands with the 5-time league MVP in Fowler Nemard. Batchelor door out, Fretwell crafts her way to the range and goes 2 in a row, and that's what they need her to do. The weight of the world on that lady's shoulders at the moment. And for the West Coast Fever, they can simply chip away at the ones.
Absolutely, and that's the important mental element to the game with this 2-point shot. That perception of pressure that you might feel when an opponent is scoring 2s against you. However, in the context of the game score, Fever are up by 14.
Well, the attention goes to Fretwell, but she still finds the space to put in number 3, Steph Fretwell. Amazing stuff. A Suncorp super shot that brings the scoreline ever so closer to give the Lightning some confidence.
Excellent work there by Beckford, able to keep that ball in on the baseline, being rewarded by Fowler Nemard as well as the many, many Green fans in the arena today.
Well, there you go, the Lightning give it away on their centre pass. They were really starting to build some momentum, maybe even some perceived pressure on the West Coast Fever. They turn it over. Oh, and the big clash. So, Fowler Nemard, Teague-Neal straight to her. So she's taken a knock.
So we have a look here of that Harvey Norman replay. Ice for the ball. Just a little bit of arm to the face there for Fowler Nemard.
You see here Courtney Bruce. So the left arm goes in, hits the face, then she pulls out.
Fantastic battle going on there in the circle. Fowler Nemard,
she doesn't even realise it's her centre pass at the back of play.
She's taking some big breaths. Big breaths.
Well, we talk about concussion protocols. Is this something that needs to be addressed? After copping an elbow to the nose, I definitely think she's going to be talked to by the doctor at 3/4 time.
Well, only a few seconds. Ariane gets a hand to ball. So no score for the Lightning, and the West Coast Fever continue to push out this lead to 15 goals, a 20-16 quarter. Well, they are in fine form at the moment, yet to lose a quarter in this opening season. Can they hold on for a flush of 4? Don't go anywhere the last 15 minutes of this game of the round right here at RAC Arena after the break. So welcome back as we head into the final quarter here. This round 2 Sunday clash. What a time brought to you by Origin Energy. And Caitlin Bassett, I'm coming straight down to you. I do not think that there is one person in the world of netball that thought this would be the scoreline at three-quarter time between these two sides.
Yeah, that's right. We talked up this game from the get-go that it was just going to be goal for goal, and Fever have absolutely got up and exploded out of the blocks. They've taken every opportunity to put that pressure on the scoreboard. Listening to Belinda Reynolds, she went straight to her defensive end at that break and said, "You have nothing to lose. Go out there, get ball." She's made changes in her attacking end as well. She's put Riley Bachelor back in that goal shooter position. And look, if you're struggling to hear from me on the sideline, that's because there are 8,702 people in this stadium, which is incredible.
Well, there you go. We told you it was going to be big. So no pressure on the shoulders here of the Lightning. Courtney Bruce moves back to goalkeeper and gets the chance here to have the battle that we all expected. Once again, they opened against Fowler Nemard and expect her to come out early, Stacey Francis-Bayman, and fly for some balls just to build some confidence into this Lightning.
Absolutely. I think the battle that they were having in that third quarter was excellent. Fowler Nemard, whilst coming out on top and scoring the goals, was not taking ball uncontested, as we see her there. Oh, take that early attempt outside the circle, and then also with great elevation to cause an error.
Well, there you go. Exactly what the Lightning needed. They were all over that ball, and they've come up with it. Lizzie Watson just falling her way through. We haven't spoken a lot. Harvey Norman replay.
Awesome work there, as we see.
I believe it was Cassidy in amongst the middle. It was a Lightning sandwich. Dehaney came out to have a look. The wayward ball, though, from Conan, so the connection not there. Fretwell goes to the bench. Caitlin Bassett, are we resting Fretwell? Is that the plan?
I reckon she'll come back on that last 5 minutes. We saw how damaging she can be, but the challenge here is for Lightning to put some scoreboard pressure on now before it gets to the power five. They can't just wait. As we can see, players are throwing their bodies around everywhere. It's a spectacular game to be watching.
Well, a little showtime from Shanice Beckford, the smallest on the court, except for Kelsey Brown, but Kelsey Brown will enjoy the fact that I just said that. So advantage the call. There's Beckford. She's been terrific today. Another little offload. She's gone 6 from 9, but it's been all about the play out the front. She's sitting on 81, or now 83 Nissen net points, second highest on the court, alongside Fowler Nemard, leading with 106 and a half, should I say. Oh, again, Bachelor through the hands. What about Bachelor? She's had moments of good and then moments of, you can see she's a youngster that's going to need a bit more court time to really refine her game.
Yeah, I think what the difficulty is there is the speed at which the ball's moving. I think sometimes she's still in that phase of setting up in the exact right position, but the ball's just coming to her and she's not quite ready for it.
Well, Fowler Nemard was ready for that one off the hands of Alice Teague-Nield. Another terrific game from her, 30 feeds. 17 goal assists, nowhere near the number from last week, but still some 12 minutes to play out.
Yeah, Shanice Beckford really taking on a mountain of work of those goal assists there, already putting in 21.
Nice and steady from Bachelor on the line. So some good minutes to tick away from her today, great experience. 15 the difference. I reckon if they could get it to 10. Oh, here we go, moment. Nice hand from Hinchliffe. If they get it to 10, the Lightning, they can put some real pressure on the Fever if Fretwell does what she's capable of.
You're absolutely right. I think this is where we need to see Lightning being aggressive like that, having opportunities to go and win ball, changing their defensive structures, making Fever really have to think about it and upset their centre pass to goal, which has been going incredibly well today. For Fever, they just need to stay calm, score off of their own possession.
Watson out wide, centres up with My. Nice 45 angled lead from Bachelor and then Conan. So they're having to work the ball a lot, but that's what Lightning do very well, craft their way to Conan. And then a missed shot, a contested rebound. possession, the call. Well, it was interesting, wasn't it? Because the players were looking at the umpire to say whose decision. No whistle.
Absolutely. The players to own that moment there in the circle.
Even Fretwell was a little confused. You could see her shaking her head.
Oh, wow.
Courtney Bruce, well, she used to do that in the green and now she's done it in the yellow to an absolute silence in the stadium. Not a clap when that moment happened.
Very unusual moment for everybody here. Fantastically rewarded, though, by Lightning, and exactly what they need to keep them in this game so that they can exploit the two-point shot.
The timing was ridiculous, wasn't it? And it was so far away from the goalpost, so she read that beautifully and early. So here we go for the Lightning. Batcheldor steadies and delivers, so they are now leading this quarter 6-4, a couple in a row. They've pulled this back to 13. They won't go away. Both mid-court in the same position. Here's your breakdown.
And brilliant shooting by Batcheldor as well to take the moment when it's given to her. 10 from 12.
Two on one. And then somehow the front space found for Fowler Nemard, and in the back, Courtney Bruce looking ginger, maybe a little bit of cramp, I'd say.
Ginger or blonde?
Blonde. Got to get rid of that word. So you can just see there addressing her left leg, so you would expect maybe a bit of cramp just on the way she landed. Finishing at the other end for the Lightning. No bib on Fretwell at this point. Anstis been very good just closing down Liz Watson today. And the fever attack seamless again. Fever didn't lose a quarter last week against the Giants. The Lightning won the first, third and fourth. Oh, beautiful open. Well, it's been far and few between today, hasn't it? That seamless connection to post from Watson to Conan.
It has. The defensive pressure across the court from both teams has been fantastic. It's not been that free open netball as we see that brilliant feed by Jordan Kranzberg, who's just come onto the court. Confidence personified, putting that ball in from the centre third over a Courtney Bruce.
Jordan Kranzberg, as you just mentioned, in the middle. Has a look. Oh, gee, she's caused some confusion defensively. Watson. And then lovely connection into Conan. Had to twist around to get there. It falls short. So the contact on Sunday Ariang. 65 Nissan net points for her, playing in game 64. 8 minutes to play out here. Back for Teague Neal. It's a causing call on Cassidy in at wing defence. Beckford. Well, there's a real task here for the Lightning defence, Stace, isn't there? Because if they worry too long on Fowler Nemard, Shanice Beckford's proving very, very dangerous.
Absolutely, and I think that's something that we'll definitely hear them address in this tactical period. They're halfway through this final quarter. Need to find themselves some energy and some ball.
HCF tactical timeout with the Lightning, trailing by 14 but leading by 1 in this quarter.
This is the moment now to try and get ourselves within 10, 12 for the last bit, okay? So I want everyone to take risks in defence, all right? So Cara, more urgency from the back, filling middle, hands on, all right? These lateral balls have to go, and let's have a crack. Even you fly, Tazi field, all right? We need absolute pressure on every single ball.
finals. Let's not forget last week the Sunshine Coast Lightning won by 16 goals. This is unfamiliar territory for them. She has just given them absolute licence. She wants them within 10 to 12 goals.
She does, and she's told them exactly how to do it, incredibly clear in her messaging. She's bringing the energy, and hopefully that transfers into her charges out there on court.
So the final 7.5 minutes to play. The next few minutes will be very intriguing to see if the Lightning can get their hand on some ball and maybe just apply some pressure to the minds of the West Coast Fever. My, the swing. Conan a little far away for her liking. Fran Williams. And then Sunday Ariang, it comes up, beautiful outside arm.
Incredible footwork in that moment there by Ariang. Manages to find herself in a front position and then makes it extra clean. Oh, brilliant pull in by Beckford. Extra clean by using the outside arm. Super fast transition down court there by the Fever.
Well, they are annoying the Lightning, aren't they? Straight out of that huddle, and they made them hurt. Don't forget, coming up next at John Cain Arena, the Swifts looking for their first win of the season up against our new team in the league, the Mavericks, also hoping to find their first win. And a very interesting comment coming from Amy Parmenter saying she was so nervous last week, Caitlin Bassett, that the game almost came and went. She didn't even know about it.
Yeah, that's right. So I was lucky enough to have a chat with her and said, how are you feeling? And she said it was like I was debuting. There were so many people there. There was so much hype. The week, the lead up, the build up was exhausting. So I expect to see maybe a slightly different Mavericks out there tomorrow.
Betcheldor, it does fall short, and it'll go with the Fever. They have now got themselves in front to lead this quarter 10-9. Anstis, high ball left up there for a while. She did look around to see who was coming at her. Beckford steps back, and then Courtney Bruce over the back, keeps the ball in play.
Excellent work there. Gone down actually in the back of shot with cramp or some kind of uncomfortable ankle. However, Lightning really making the most out of this moment. Belinda Reynolds asking her team to bring the game back to within 10 so that they can make the most of the super shot.
Well, there's one. 15 the difference, 5:30 on the clock, 30 seconds shy of the power 5. There's the Harvey Norman replay, the Bruce moment. There'll be plenty of those for the Lightning fans throughout the season.
Still even Stevens in this quarter, 10-10.
Spare a thought for the umpires trying to get their message across. The crowd has been enormous. Beckford, quick offload to Fowler Nemard. And right on the power 5 siren, the Fever take the single. 16 the difference. Fretwell in the rolling subs box, and why wouldn't you?
Frustrating start to that power 5 though for the Lightning. Their centre pass and they give it away with a break. A couple of unforced errors like that in the game today for Lightning.
Oh, a great look from Bruce though, just pulled down at the last second. And then Fowler Nemard sends her to the floor. The West Coast Fever, no pressure to take the twos. Lovely second phase, 3-ball play to the post.
Yeah, brilliant work there. Really great preparation from Beckford, knowing she wasn't going to take that first phase. Fever opted to keep it nice and simple.
Well, the Fever last week scored 84, sitting at 70. You really haven't had to worry about taking the twos at all.
Contact, advantage offside.
Lizzie Watson just moves Kransberg out the way, finds Fretwell, lots of pressure. Doesn't fall though, Ariang boxes out.
Fantastic work by Ariang there, adding more stats to her name.
Kransberg cleverly around the leg, straight to Teague Neal, into Fowler Nemard, and another one for the West Coast Fever. Well, anytime the Lightning have had an absolute little sniff of a momentum run, somehow Fever have found a defensive moment and put it straight back at them.
They have. Fever have been incredibly ruthless out there today, being really mindful of the moments. Again, reading that moment fantastically by calling that timeout.
ACF tactical timeout to the Fever.
Nothing. All right, so let's finish this game off. Discipline in attack. Let's get Liver score on the board. All right, but let's Dee. Give him nothing. Let's go.
Listen, we take this on and we show ourselves that we can close things out.
So you just heard then Dan Ryan giving the nod to young Olivia Wilkinson. Signed 3 years with the West Coast Fever Netball Club in a goal attack. And we saw her come on for a few minutes last week. And her very first score in Suncorp Super Netball was a super shot. So 3:33 on the clock. And these are important minutes for youngsters when they get their chance. She's in a formidable side here. They're proving that maybe they are a team to be contended with this season, and she's got to make the most of those opportunities when they come.
Absolutely right. She was able to debut last week. I don't think that she'll be completely happy with the performance that she put out there, so she'll be looking to make the most of this last 3.5 minutes to take another step forward and really show what she's capable of at this SSN level.
So away we go. The last few minutes of play. We're in Power 5 time here. The West Coast Fever, they've won every quarter so far, and they're leading this one 15-10 with a nice and easy start to post. They've been hard to stop in attack. Conan now off the court. Fretwell in at goal attack, so that ankle potentially not offering too much concern. And a contact call, so it's just not the day, is it, for the Lightning? They really have been monstered at both ends of the court. They've had some good defensive moments through the middle, and Bruce has done a couple of brilliant things. It's just not been enough.
Yeah, really, really great contest there in that moment, but for me, Fever have been incredible on turnover ball. They've taken their goal to game rate has been over 90% for majority of the game. Their centre pass is sat above 85%, which is where they've really built confidence as we see Hinchcliffe come out of that circle on a fantastic contest, but as it goes, sometimes ball lands back with the Fever.
So you just saw there our Nissan net points powered by E-Power, and Fowler Nemard sitting at the top once again. She did last week. 151.5, now sitting at 132.5. They moved Wilkinson into the super shot range. Can she don another to the scorecard? And she can. The Suncorp super shot falls for the new goaler at the West Coast Fever.
Fantastic confident shot in that moment. She was screaming for the ball much earlier than there.
Well, the biggest win ever as Bachelor tries to do the same at the other end, and that is a sweet shot. The greatest winning margin for the West Coast Fever is 24. Sitting at 21 at the moment. So a contact called on my mind. Wilkinson again, a minute 25 on the clock. Oh, gee, the youngster. The smile goes to the face. And the West Coast Fever Green Army are on their feet. The Venga bus has begun with over a minute to play. Bachelor, Suncorp super shot drops.
Incredible work from Bachelor in that moment. Fever obviously have been dominant today, but she has done her job when she's needed.
Wilkinson again for number 3. It's got to be big over Bruce. It's an obstruction. She'll steady. Number 3 falls out. Fowler Nemard. The rebound. Goes again. Wants a bit of the glory. Fowler Nemard. This will bring the fans to their feet if they're not already. Oh, gee, 30 seconds. What a message this is from the West Coast Fever.
Incredible read there by Ariang. A brief delay. Reads the ball beautifully as she has done all day. Fever transition like lightning.
To take the scoreline above 80. Fowler Nemard does it again. 6 seconds to play out. The West Coast Fever have put their foot down in front of 8,700. The siren goes, it'll beat the shot, but West Coast Fever open up the season with 2 monstrous wins and 8 winning quarters in 2 weeks.
Incredible work there by Fever. Clinical, won all 4 quarters, Their last being their best by 10 goals, showing that they wanted to make a point to themselves that they can bury teams.
Well, they have just recorded a new record against the Lightning, taking a previously biggest winning margin of 24 out to 25. Well, it was a day, wasn't it? Sunday, Ariang enormous, gets up over the 100 mark for her. Nissan net points, 101.5. Fowler Nemard, 141, just 10 shy of where she was at last week. And all the talk, wasn't it, this game, the game of the round. Courtney Bruce, the former Fever captain, returning to the territory she called home for over 13 years. And it wasn't to be in any way, shape or form, was it? The West Coast Fever, well, they've had 6 new changes to this side. And what a way to send a message to the competition in the opening 2 weeks. Well, this lady, she scared us at one point on the court, but she's reminded us if she can't play netball, she might just go across to gymnastics. Caitlin Bassett, who have you got?
Congratulations, Sunday, Ariang. An amazing game. I don't know what was more amazing, the amount of intercepts you got or that split that you did. Tell us, how did you pull up after that one?
Do you know what, at first I was kind of in shock, didn't know what happened at the start, but I think once I came off, I was like, I'm totally fine, I can go back out there, so.
Yeah. You finished the game with 7 intercepts. Absolutely massive. Tell us, what was it like out there? How were you able to pick up so much ball?
I think I'm so lucky to have the players around me, like Jess and Kels out the front were doing their work, giving me those opportunities to fire out ball, and I think everyone around was just shutting down in defence, which made it so much easier for me to pick up ball.
You guys had a record win here tonight. You won every single quarter. Tell us, what's the mentality when you're leading by so much, and how did you manage to keep your foot on the throttle?
I think the mentality for us is just staying aggressive in those moments. I think not having any relaxed moments. As soon as we're up ahead, we just need to keep pushing forward.
2 from 2, ridiculously dominant wins. How much confidence does this give you bringing into Mavericks next week?
It gives us a lot of confidence. We are a very fresh team, so it's nice to get these wins ahead of the season.
Good luck and enjoy the win.
Thank you.
A terrific performance from Sunday Ariang. Been 2 weeks in a row where she's been overly impressive. 81 to 56. That was monstrous by the West Coast Fever.
It was incredible work, the way in which they built through that game there. The gains for me stands out quite considerably. 15 to Fever, 9 to Lightning. They scored off of 92% of their games, which absolutely then means they're able to open up that scoreline. Contacts and contests, really similar between the two, but turnovers and ability to win ball was the difference today.
So a 25-goal lead to the West Coast Fever and a second win for season 2024. Terrific crowd, terrific performance, and some smiling faces for the West Coast Fever. We're going to head to the break and wrap up the show in just a moment. Dan Ryan will join the panel, but as we go to the break, don't forget there's still another game to come your way. We head to Sydney after this one, where the New South Wales Swifts will take on the Melbourne Mavericks.
This season, I am going to be bringing fire and a do not care attitude.
Finds Cardwell.
Smart play from Cardwell.
Stay hungry, stay thirsty, don't be afraid to get down and dirty.
Housby says, we're going up. Wallace Joseph firing it on to Housby.
We came to fight all night until the
The Swifts are the team to beat this season.
So